Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, bullets, not bullet points. We have a look at a new stalking course with a focus on the practical.
What are you going to do now?
We have news and we have views in Hallo Charlie. First, as the roebuck rut comes to a close, Roy has a medal buck on his mind. Roy's roebuck rut has been very successful. 2 outings have given us 2 deer and 3 foxes. Well, this evening is the culmination of the last few weeks' efforts. He's going after one of the largest animals he's seen on his ground.
The reason we're back down on these fields is when we were here the other evening, there was an old boy that came out into this field questing behind a doe. We've subsequently seen him a couple more times, and he's definitely cracking on. He's probably past his best, and if we are lucky enough that he's still feeling a little bit fruity, we might be able to get him to come to the call as well. But we're almost halfway through August. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get any response out of him, but you can always live in hope.
We know we are in the transition phase of the rut here. We've already seen a roebuck chasing a doe on the drive down, but we're also seeing single females with young who are concentrating on getting those fat reserves replenished.
Now again, it's a little bit different tonight because we're not just searching around for any old cold buck. We're targeting a specific animal.
Roy is very focused on the job. Oops. Back on track, we get to the corner of the big buck's home field. There is no sign of him and the wind is messing about. Roy uses some thistledown he picked up earlier to check the direction. Straight down then. Carefully we work up the hedge line and have a calculated risky squeak. After a good 5 minutes, this young buck pops out for a look.
Now, we obviously had the opportunity to shoot that buck, but that's not the one that we were after. He looks like quite a promising youngster coming on. He looked a bit skinny, obviously, he's been rutting quite hard. With him coming out of the territory that the old boy was in, I'm not overly hopeful that the old boy's still in residence here, or if he is, he's finished, he's just couched up and recuperating from a long run. I think what we'll do, we'll stalk back round, go and have a look in a couple of the other areas, and then come back out here and just see if he comes out to feed on the field margins at last light. That might be our only chance. It's always nice to see a youngster come in there.
Roy works around the block of woodland, stopping at each corner for a squeak. Along the top edge of the wood there is a lone doe feeding. We're going to have to be careful not to scare her, as we're just a few hundred metres from coming back round to the big buck's field.
Let's see if Meerkat David can keep still enough.
We're now able to see the buck's territory again. There's no sign, so cool as a cucumber Roy decides to sit down for 10 minutes and see if our roe emerges. Time to catch up with texts. Patience pays off and up pops our buck.
Yeah, it is our boy. Don't you love it when a plan almost comes together?
As we start working around, a youngster appears. This could be really good or really bad.
He's a perfect goal candidate, and he's a perfect goal candidate.
The young buck moves into the wood. Roy takes his chance and moves further up the field to our right to get some ground behind the buck. As he moves, David spots that the yearling has not left the pitch and is still on the sidelines. We are now in the open and the buck spooks and tears across the field below us, bringing the big buck to his feet. This is no longer going to plan. As is often the case, the buck stops for a last look. Roy is happy with the shot, but it's longer than he'd expected, 160 yards.
Unheard. Excellent. Superb stuff. We'll just drag him out into the light and have a good look at him. What a stunning deer. We were very lucky there. As we started coming into him,
the young buck appeared back on the edge of the woodland again and bolted straight in towards the old boy. The old boy lifted and started cracking off right in towards the woods, and luckily he just had to make the fatal error, as unfortunately a lot of them do, and just have one last look back, and it just gave me the opportunity to get the rifle on the sticks quickly and take the shot. But yeah, that was absolutely stunning, a beautiful stalk, and it's so nice when you get the beast that you were actually after at the beginning of the day. So yeah, we've had a wonderful afternoon, seen a few other deer, but ended up with the right cull beast, so couldn't be happier.
So, a nice animal worthy of measuring. Although it is missing the back tines, it could scrape a bronze. Once Roy has boiled out the head, he'll have to wait 3 months so it can dry out before getting the head weighed and measured. But if it misses out on a medal, it won't matter. This is one of those stalks that had it all. Thank you, Roy. Now from one middle-aged beast to another, it's David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. Sports stars are getting different reactions to their hunting exploits from all over the world. New Zealand rugby players Tom Taylor, George and Sam Whitelock, Ben Fennell and Tyler Blayendale have been attacked by antis for posting pictures of themselves hunting big game whilst out on tour in South Africa. The antis say this is part of their campaign against canned hunting, even though the rugby players were not on a canned hunt. Meanwhile, American Olympic wrestler Dremiel Byers has been hit with a wildlife violations rap. The 10-time national champion wrestler was spotted hunting a white-tailed deer with a bow and arrow in the parking lot of a Lexus dealership in Colorado. And American football quarterback Stephen McGee is getting plaudits in his native Texas for starring in a new hunting TV show alongside his wife Brittany. It's called Camo Life. James Purdy and Sons have created a trio of guns to mark the bicentenary year of 2014, and they're for sale now. The 2 shotguns and 1 .470 Express double rifle with oak and leather travel case and custom-built glass display case are for sale by sealed bids, closing the 19th of December 2014. The winning bidder will be informed of their success in writing by Friday the 16th of January 2015. Some of the proceeds will go to the Prince's Trust and some to the Gunmakers Company Charitable Trust. Shooters in Malta will be gathering on a church rooftop and shooting shotguns into the air. The ceremony takes place on the 31st of August on the parish church in St Julian's. St Julian the Hospitaller is also a patron saint of hunters. The Maltese hunters, who are under fire for shooting migratory birds, will use blank cartridges. Chinese internet titan Jack Ma is hit out at a British report that he indulged in a luxurious British hunting trip. He says his shooting trip was for animal conservation, not recreation. The Chinese Nature Conservancy also defended Ma, a director on the organisation's board, after Britain's The Sunday Times reported that billionaire Ma was among the Chinese new rich indulging in upmarket hunting trips in Britain. The report in the South China Morning Post says more of China's money classes are spending big on hunting in Britain to emulate the aristocratic lifestyle depicted in British television shows shown on Chinese TV, such as Downton Abbey and Fieldsports Channel, don't you know. And finally, a YouTube film shows a man swimming for his life when he's pursued by a crocodile. He's swimming to a nearby shore as the predator closes in on him. An onlooker has the presence of mind to hurl an object from the jetty, and the splash is enough to send the crocodile swimming off in the other direction. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing.
Thank you, David. Now, what have you lot been up to? It is Hallo Charlie.
Hello Charlie, it's another gorgeous day in Northern Ireland and I've been spending a bit of time doing a wee bit of bird control on a local farm. And as you can see, I've had a fairly mixed bag. But anyway, keep up the good work and all the best to you, hey.
Hello Charlie, John here. The dog Moss down there, lying down, doesn't want to be in the film. I'm not out shooting at the moment. I've been signing petitions about hen harriers and complaining to the BBC.
Hello Charlie, Hallo Charlie, Lars and Bertram from Denmark, catching a few pounds of pike and waiting for hunting season to start.
Hello Charlie, Brett here from good old New Zealand. Been out getting some fallow deer, and this is my son, and it's his first fallow deer. He spotted it, I had to shoot it, but he tracked a blood trail, so it's his first deer. Proud moment over in New Zealand.
Hello Charlie, this is Lee Veltman, keeping the farm happy, protecting the crop, shooting the pigeons.
Hello Charlie, it's Darrell here in County Down, doing a bit of pigeon shooting. The farmers in the field lifting the bales, and there's still some pigeons coming in. I think it's going to be a good day, maybe looking at 150 plus. Good luck Charlie.
Send us your own Hallo Charlie. Film yourself on your mobile phone, just a sentence saying Hallo Charlie, who you are and what you're up to. Then share it or email it via YouTube, Facebook, Dropbox, or you send it, you name it, to charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Thank you for those, please keep them coming. Now, last week we showed you round the Holland Holland playground. Well, they also have a rifle range and a new course for stalkers or anyone who wants to get behind a rifle. A sporting rifle is a simple tool, but its applications are complex. Different environments, quarry and management plans require different styles, calibers and shooting techniques. But the basic principles remain the same, and it's these that they want to teach you on the Stalkers course at Holland and Holland.
Safe rifle handling applies to anything, foxes, rabbits, whatever you may want to shoot. And not only in this country. Some of our customers might wish to travel further afield and shoot. Same rules apply. At the end of the day, all we need to do is put in place those checks to interfere with the sequence of errors that normally results in an accident.
This course is not designed to compete with other deer management courses. Chris feels they are just as important, but at the ground near Ruislip, this is the only classroom you will see. It's all about putting lots and lots of rounds downrange safely and accurately.
The deer management qualification, for example, will cover a lot of the legalities of shooting, quarry identification and a lot more of the theory, which you do need to know. But what we are very keen to do here is make you entirely familiar and comfortable with your rifle, using your rifle, but using it safely. And you will spend all of your time on the range, bar maybe the few minutes to do the multiple choice, the written side of the assessment. But normally that's done at the end over a coffee anyway. So you'll be out on the range there for best part of 3 hours, all the 3 hours.
Some of the people investing in a course like this are hoping to apply for their FAC. There are no guarantees, but it will certainly show your firearms officer that you are taking the responsibility of owning a rifle seriously.
During the Holland Holland Stalkers course, we cover many aspects of gun handling and safe rifle shooting. For example, climbing up this high seat correctly, loading the rifle once you're here. But when we're shooting, although rare, we do have instances we need to know how to deal with. For example, a misfire. What are you going to do now?
If you don't know, ask someone, or go on a course like this one. Chris chose to call it the Stalkers course because of the popularity of deer stalking in the UK. But, as we said earlier, rifle shooting is all the same but different. Chris will adapt the course for fox shooters, buffalo hunters, and it's not just centrefires. If you want to go rabbiting with the 2.2, he will happily teach that too. And if you ask nicely, maybe you'll get a chance to shoot the 500 double rifle as well.
I've mentioned 2.2, which is a very small rimfire calibre that we'd use for the beginners and the early stages. The 243 is what we tend to use on this Stalkers course, but we have a large selection of other rifles. They're demonstrator rifles, so they're not always here. They might be away on shows being demonstrated, but for example, at the moment there's a 375 bolt rifle and a double rifle. It's a 400, a 465, a 500 double rifle as well. So that's mainly of interest to people who are going to, for example, Africa to shoot dangerous game. But it's here, and it's probably one of the few places you can actually come along and try something like that.
It's vital for rifle shots to experience pressure, even buck fever. People do fail this course, and typically it's the moment that the target changes colour.
When you're training, you have our Stalker's target, which is, as you see, red in the middle for the bullseye, if you like. We have a photocopy of that for training, which is great. So there is an absolute difference from the grey to the red. That does the trick. You'll be surprised how people react under just that amount of pressure, but it gives everyone a good idea what's going to happen potentially in the field.
As a novice, it can be tough to find a shooting mentor or ground to shoot over. Courses like this at Holland Holland make shooting accessible, giving good advice that will stand a shooter in great stead for the whole of their shooting lives. Over the next few weeks, Chris will be offering up a few of his rifle shooting tips on Fieldsports channel. If you want more information about the course, go to hollandandholland.com. Nothing beats putting bullets down a barrel. Now, let's see what the rest of YouTube's been up to. It is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Let's start with the English summer. The hound show season is now over, and a few of them have made it onto YouTube. Every year, Raffaele Capasso makes a film about the Rydal Hound Show and sheepdog trials in Cumbria, and here it is. Staying in Europe, black roebuck stalking hunting has Jakt magazine Weibensheil out after a mysteriously coloured buck. And Swedish channel kanaljakt.se is obviously brewing up for something watchable. Here's its latest trailer. Off to the USA for Texas hog hunt, spin corn for a fortnight and hogs start to show up on the game cam. Time for Special Ed 309 to get out and knock them down. An avid hunter has brought out 2013 Saskatchewan Deer Hunt Part 2. More great encounters in the subarctic and a 10-point buck. Let's end on 3 different kinds of pigeon shooting. In the UK, Shoot More Pigeons is decoying over partly cut peas. The film is about doing your homework and how sometimes things conspire against you. To the USA, where there's nothing to learn from Saw No More Station, who goes to a field that has more than 3,000 pigeons on it the day before, except that happily, unless you are the farmer, all of them come back the next day and display nicely for the camera. And finally, JJ Caceria offers Argentina dove hunting, an unbelievable number of birds and an incredible amount of shooting. That's it for this week. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Now, if those don't float your barrel, how about these from our other shows, Fishing Britain and Airheads.
Here on Fishing Britain, we love our gadgets, and we now have a reel with computers in it.
It's the Shimano Calais 201 DC. The DC stands for digital circuitry. Yes, it's got a computer on board. Helps with all your casting, line lay, etc. Charges itself when you cast. The spool spins, there's a set of windings, trickles a little charge in, just to give it enough to control it and operate it. You can cast full on with a spoon into a headwind, and if you've set it up right, you don't get a problem. It's virtually foolproof. I'm about the only person that can still get tackle tangled with it, but gorgeous reel, and for casting, effortless.
That all seems perfectly reasonable, but I'm guessing it's not cheap.
The rod, around about £100. The reel, depending on where you get them, anywhere between £600–700.
Just as I thought. Gary is a self-confessed tackle tart.
I'd say I'm a massive tackle tart. The difference is I use it every day.
The captain of the England Law Squad and the organiser of Zandermania that features in this week's Fishing Britain, along with the legendary castmaster himself, Hal Morgan, in search of bass off the coast of Abu Dhabi, using flies and lures. News reports on a bad day when a man finds out that his car is not the James Bond car, and plenty of videos from Hooked on YouTube. Fishing Britain every Friday from 7 PM right here on Fieldsports Channel.
Meanwhile, in Airheads, HFT competitor Roger Late is showing us the new FAC BSA in 2.5 caliber. James shows us why using quarry as a backstop is not good enough. We have beautiful quadcopter shots from Darren as he explains high seat shooting. Plus, El Tell tells us his favourite target to get kids hooked on air gunning. Click on the link on the screen for more. Well, we are back next week. Please hit the subscribe button that's somewhere around the outside of the screen, or go to our webpage fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, or pop your email address into our constant contact box, and we will constantly contact you about our programme that's out 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.